finally have time to sit down and repot some of these cuttings. I think some of them are way past due. Look at these big roots. I don't even know how they are going to fit in this tiny cup. I might need to go back to the store and buy some longer cups. Oops. So I actually got these from the Dollar Tree, and I kind of melted a hole into them so it can serve as drainage holes. I like these clear cups because I can see the roots when they're transitioning from the water propagation to soil. These ones over here are not as bad, I think, as the Swiss cheese, but we'll see how this works out. So it has been a minute since I've last done this. There has been a lot of things going on in my life. My aunts came to visit from Mexico, and I was kind of distracted going to go see them and meet the new baby, and then I got sick for like a week and a half. I got a cold. It wasn't too bad, it was just mostly annoying sneezing and coughing, and I mostly stayed home during that time. And I got a job offer with Yosemite National Park, which, if you know me at all, that is my dream park, and I have been wanting to work there since I was a child. That's where I discovered my love for nature, and where I decided to become a biologist, and where I found out that there was such a thing as a park ranger. But the thing is that they're not providing housing for me. And because they're not providing housing for me, it's been really hard to find housing outside of the park. At this point, it feels like it's non-existent. Like, I've been looking at Zillow, and there was, a while back, there was one house that was for rent, and it got swooped up pretty fast because I thought, well, maybe it won't be so hard to find a rental. And that cabin that was for rent was kind of spooky looking, so I didn't feel comfortable staying there. And I think I'll be fine if I just scrunch them up. Yeah. And so I didn't even apply for it, and then someone took that home, and it has been the only home that's been for rent at a reasonable distance from the park. And the thing about finding housing also is that I'm not willing to move to a place without Dallas. So he has to come with me. He has to come with me. Like, I'm not even going to entertain the idea of him not coming with me. I need to get another container because it's really wet and messy. That makes it even harder because a lot of the places that I've been finding are not dog friendly, which really sucks because a lot of people nowadays, especially people our age, I feel like have dogs and cats, and for them to just straight up say no dogs and cats allowed is just not fair for us who choose to have animals, because animals are such a big part of our everyday lives. And I don't know, I just don't think it's fair. I think places that rent should be aware that people are looking for a pet-friendly place and try to work with their tenants to ensure that they are able to bring their animals with them. But that's just me. So I really don't know what's going to happen, where I'm going to live, any of that. This is pretty ambitious, trying to shove all of these into this cup. I don't even know if this is a smart choice, but it's okay. I'm not gonna leave it in here for too long, just like while it gets used to being in dirt and not water, because I've had this one in water for a while. I think one of the reasons why housing is so difficult is because a lot of people are buying properties in these popular areas. Of course, where I'm going, it's a popular park. It's a park that's known across the world, and they would just turn them into Airbnbs and vacation rentals. And the homes that are at a reasonable distance to the park are often really expensive. They're $1 million homes. People who can afford to live there and work somewhere else, like work remotely, are buying these homes because they want to go to the park and experience the park. And then the people who work there every day gets pushed further and further away. And it's these people, the workers, that make places like this special. Imagine going to this park and just finding it in complete trash and chaos. For example, when the furlough happened, there was no rangers around, and people saw the difference of having a park with staff and having a park without staff. There was trash everywhere, it was accidents, there was chaos. So it does impact the park. It's not like the park just stands alone. The park is what it is because of the people that work there. And if they can't find a place to live, how are these people going to afford to work there? And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. It's ridiculous, and my options are, honestly, right now, is to get lucky, find a home to rent, just find a room to rent, which I don't want to do. Honestly, I don't want to have roommates. I just want to live in my own space. First plant, so cute. And like I said, I want to live with Dallas. I'm not willing to move away from him anymore. This one, I can either sacrifice. I might just keep this one in water. I don't mind keeping some in water. I do have some nice glass jars that I can keep in like darker areas. I think that would be fine. So this one stays. And then another thing is not being paid a wage that allows me to live closer to the park. If I want something that's affordable, I would need to drive about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to the park, and to me that's just insane because I would be gone the entire day. My workday would start at 7:30, so I would have to wake up so early, and then I would come back and basically just try to eat and go to sleep. And that's just not, like, I love my job. I'm happy with the work that I do. I feel really privileged to be able to do the job that I do, but I don't want my entire life to be work, right? I want to be able to have time to walk Dallas, or I want to be able to time to enjoy the park on my own time, or do my hobbies, like take care of my plants. And I wouldn't be able to do that if 4 days out of my 7 days are just work. It makes no sense. Full disclosure, I have my phone right here so I can see if my camera has died or not. Oh, my hair is like a mess. So yeah, that's my current life update, is trying to figure out where I'm going to live for the next X amount of years. And we did entertain the idea of buying a house, but that has been so stressful all on its own, and at this point I honestly don't even know what's going to happen. I don't know. I also, during like a very frustrated day when I was looking for housing and not finding anything, I got an email from a different park asking if I'm still available for an interview. And being that I was so frustrated and fed up with the housing situation, I said yes. And I did have the interview, and the interview went well. They haven't said anything if I got the job or not, but then I felt really guilty for even entertaining that idea. I felt like I cheated on Yosemite National Park. Okay, look how cool these roots are. They look like fish bones. Because I am a little bit superstitious, I think people are going to might make fun of me for this, but I do believe in manifesting, and I manifested this position so hard. Like, there were days where I would just beg the universe to give me this position because, like I said, this is my dream park. I've been wanting to work in this park forever, and I felt like it was only right for me to do a season, at least one season in this park, because I owe this park, I'm gonna say I owe it my life. What I'm trying to say is that I became who I am now because of this park. So it would only be fair to give back and be a part of a team that works on taking care of this park and trying to restore the natural area to what it was prior to it becoming a park. So because I did manifest it so hard, and I feel like the universe granted me this wish, I feel like if I were to take another job after I already got this job, it would just be like I'm turning my back on the universe, or I'm being ungrateful, or I don't know, it makes me think that it would just bring bad juju, so I'm not going to do that. The only way I will only do that if I absolutely cannot find a home. Then I will be like, hey, I tried everything. I tried all my options and nothing worked, and I'm sorry, but I can't work here if I don't have a place to live. So there's that. I'm so glad I didn't have to cut all of these into single cuttings, and they rooted just fine as a long vine, because I get impatient with plant growth. I just want them to be super viney and beautiful. So yes, if anyone has any advice on where I should live, I also considered being like a van lifer, or like buying an RV and then just like living in an RV, but then where would I put all of my plants? I don't think I can keep all my plants in an RV. There's just too many plants. And then what would I do when I'm at work? Where would Dally stay? Would he just stay in my tiny RV? I guess, are there even like doggy daycare centers out there near the park? I'm just hoping it all turns out. When I'm filming this, it's like December, and my first day in the job is February, so I have 2 months to find somewhere to live. They are providing housing for my first month there, because I think they know, they have to know, right, that the housing there is like non-existent. So they're giving me until the end of March to find somewhere to live. And then they're basically like, all right, get out of our housing. We are kicking you out. And the housing is, I think it's saved up for seasonals. Because imagine having to, if they didn't have housing for seasonals, I don't think they would have housing. They wouldn't have any sort of staff, because with a seasonal salary, it's impossible. that's another thing, that renting out there is about the same as renting here in Southern California. Where am I gonna live? Am I gonna live in someone's home, like in a room, a side room? Just don't. Am I being picky? I feel like I'm allowed to be picky because I want to be. Alright, so I was able to pot up this Brazil that rotted on me, and then this Swiss cheese that it was just getting awkward. It was growing small leaves. I don't know why, but I was growing also really tall. So I'm just gonna, when this has transitioned from water to soil, I'm going to pot it up here, and I probably won't pot that up until I move, because I want to actually fully repot my Andersonii because I think it's time. It's been in this pot for quite a while now, so when I repot this, I will add these cuttings to this plant to make it bushier. And this one, I think, like I said, I'm just gonna keep it in water. I bought some cute jars, water jars, and yeah, I want to grow some. I just want to grow some in water because it's just cute that way. And these cuttings here are not ready. They are still not rooted. So I'm gonna wait for these to root up, and then once these cuttings and these cuttings are well transitioned, I will put them up in a new planter. Anyway, I need to continue on my planting chores. Let my plants know that I haven't forgotten them. I was just a little bit busy. So yeah, let's get some chores done. So I actually don't like the way this plant has been growing. I think I have a plant with some weird genetics going on because the leaves just grow so weird and they grow really light in color. It's not where it currently is at. It's not getting excessive amounts of lights. I just put it under this grow light not too long ago, and mostly this entire summer it was growing on this, I believe this is a west facing window, but it's still, it looks chlorinated. Is that the right word? It just doesn't, I don't know what's going on with this plant. It has given me issues since the day I got it. When I got it, it like rotted automatically, and then I had to chop it and prop. It took a while to grow, and now it's just, yeah. So as you can see, some of the leaves have been dying. This is the second leaf that I found that is yellow. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it because I want a bushier plant anyway, and I think that when I move, having to move this tall plant or way too many tall plants is going to be hard. So I think it's a good time to just try and make this bushier, and then once I move, find a more permanent spot for it. So yeah, let's chop and prop. So I need to water this plant, but I don't want to take it out from the basket because I decided that I wanted this plant to vine outward and upward. If I water it, I don't want the water dripping down to my Adansonii. I don't think it's in need of water currently, so I might just water it and just stand there catching the water in a bucket or something. But yeah, let's see how that works out. And I do have this vining over here, and it does look like a really dark corner, which it is a very dark corner. But I do have grow lights that I turned off for this video clip. With the grow lights, you can see they get some good lighting, and you can tell that it's getting good lighting because this plant here, this leaf here, has discovered that there's a light source coming from this angle, and it started rotating to face the light on this side. So, isn't that cute? Plants are so cool. So I decided that I didn't want to stand there and catch water dripping down, so I set up this table, and now the water can drip onto this.